I'm Shelby Hartman, DoubleBlind's co-founder and editor-in-chief, and today I'm going to show you how to make Blue Lotus tea. If you like videos like these, please remember to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you never miss a beat on all things psychedelics. Also, I want to let you in on some hot news. DoubleBlind is launching a podcast. It's hosted by yours truly, and it's called the DoubleBlind Magic Hour. It's going to be a podcast where we interview the most brilliant minds and hearts that we know at the forefront of the psychedelic frontier. And we're also taking you behind the scenes at DoubleBlind to interview journalists about what hot goss they're hearing in the field. So keep an eye out for updates in the coming weeks. Blue Lotus, also known as the blue water lily or sacred blue lily of the Nile, is a flower that is gaining popularity for its relaxing and calming effects. It's consumed in various forms, including tea, cream, tincture, and smokable herb. Blue Lotus contains active compounds such as apomorphine and nuciferine, which interact with dopamine and serotonin symptoms, providing sleep aid and anxiety relief. It is also rich in flavonoids with anti-mutagenic and anti-carcinogenic effects. However, it's important to note that there have been no clinical trials to test its efficacy or safety. Generally, I'll just say that Blue Lotus has been popular among herbalists and other folks who are really passionate about tinctures, herbs, teas, etc. for a long, long time. But suddenly it seems to be, I don't want to say everywhere, but popping up a lot more. Recently, I was on the boardwalk in Venice, California, and I actually saw in some t-shirt and flip-flop shops that they were selling these chocolate bars called Awaken that had Blue Lotus in them. So a lot of people are thinking about Blue Lotus as sort of a legal alternative to mushrooms and other classic psychedelics, but Blue Lotus is actually incredibly distinct. So if you smoke Blue Lotus or you vape Blue Lotus, and there's a growing number of products out there in order to do that, you can really feel pretty relaxed. It could be used as sort of like a cannabis alternative in the evenings, but if you drink Blue Lotus tea, it's going to be a lot more subtle. You can think of it as almost like a stronger version of a sleepy time tea. So you see those sleepy time teas in the grocery store that have like valerian root, chamomile, things like that. Blue Lotus is going to be like one step up from that. Anima Mundi actually has a lucid dreaming tea that's really beautiful that I love that combines Blue Lotus, kava kava, and a number of other sort of stronger natural sleep aids than what you usually see in like the sleepy time tea at like a Whole Foods or something like that. I jokingly refer to Anima Mundi's tea as hippie Ambien. I give it to my friends when they're really struggling with anxiety and need to get a good night's sleep. But I'm also going to note that Blue Lotus has been growing in popularity for lucid dreaming, and that it can definitely make your dreams stronger. And so there are some, albeit preliminary, studies showing that lucid dreaming actually has therapeutic benefit. A lot of people also like to do it as just sort of like a spiritual practice. Basically, you make yourself a cup of Blue Lotus tea in the evening before bed, and much like you might do with another psychedelic, you can kind of set the intention as you're drinking it that you want to remember your dreams. I actually sat with this really beautiful woman named Ebian when I was in Costa Rica. I did a lucid dreaming workshop with her, and this, I know this also might sound a little woo-woo, but she suggested to us that while you're drinking the tea, you are setting the intention that you're going to remember your dreams. And then as you are falling asleep, you imagine yourself walking across a bridge that sort of connects the waking world to the dreaming world. And you say to yourself, I'm going to remember my dreams tonight. I'm going to remember my dreams tonight. And miraculously, if you do this night after night after night, most people, at least anecdotally, report that they begin to remember more and more and more of their dreams. It's really a dreaming practice. You know, everyone dreams, but a lot of people just don't remember their dreams with very much lucidity. So Blue Lotus and other lucid dreaming herbs, including like mugwort, for example, can help with that. Anyway, let's get into it. If desired, you can place a lid over your tea while it steeps to recapture any active components that may evaporate in the steam. After steeping, strain the tea to remove the flowers, or you can leave them in if you prefer. Add honey or lemon to taste and enjoy! So here are just some of the herbs in my apothecary in my house. So exciting, I get to show these on camera because they're all legal. So first up we have my Dream Tea by Anima Mundi. And it has passion flowers, skullcap, rama, tulsi, ashwagandha, kava kava, ginger, rose, blue lotus, blue cornflower, stevia leaf. The point is that most of these herbs here are herbs that are known for regulating the nervous system, as well as herbs that are supposed to support in lucid dreaming. So generally speaking, like I said, there's kind of two main reasons why people, at least that I'm aware of, take Blue Lotus. And one of them is for sort of anxiety relaxation. So you can try smoking it or drinking tea sort of in the evenings, or smoking it in the evenings. And another is for lucid dreaming. So oftentimes when we're thinking about combining Blue Lotus with other plants, you want to think about what your intention is and then potentially combine it with other plants that are going to support that intention. So other plants that are known for regulating the nervous system, of course, chamomile, which in general, just consider throwing some other teas and herbs and things in the Blue Lotus to give it a different flavor. If you want something for your digestive system, you can consider like a lemon balm or a lemon verbena. Another plant that is often used for lucid dreaming is mugwort. So you can put this in with your Blue Lotus tea. You can also smoke it. Of course, Miss Cannabis, can't leave her out. People love to combine cannabis with Blue Lotus. They say that it gives the cannabis a little bit of a trippier quality. And don't quote me on it. Maybe rose does have medicinal qualities. If so, put it in the chat because I'm not an expert on everything. But you can't go wrong drinking rose, putting rose in your bath, smoking rose, and I love to combine it with Blue Lotus. It's important to start with a small dose of Blue Lotus tea and gradually increase it over time to reduce feeling overly drowsy and the risks of side effects. I will say that we don't know much about contraindications when it comes to Blue Lotus. So this is not a tea that I would recommend drinking or taking in high doses if you are on pharmaceutical drugs and haven't spoken to your healthcare practitioner about it. Generally speaking, if you buy Blue Lotus, there are not going to be dosing instructions on it. If there are, of course, follow those, but know that most Blue Lotus is sold sort of in like mason jars or bags in apothecaries and things like that. So it's really just the same tenets that we use for tripping on bigger classic psychedelics, which is start low and go slow. Start with half a flower, work your way up to a full flower. Ultimately, like I said, even if you're vaping Blue Lotus, unless you vape a lot of it, nothing really crazy is going to happen to you if you have experience, especially on cannabis and other psychedelics, but it can definitely, make you feel drowsy and make you feel uncomfortable. So as with all things, proceed with care. But I do think that it is a really beautiful medicine. And we often like to say at DoubleBlind that oftentimes people romanticize these bigger classic psychedelic experiences, DMT, ayahuasca, LSD, shrooms, etc. But there is so much benefit and healing and insight to be gained from cultivating a relationship with the legal apothecary of plants and fungi that come from the earth, Blue Lotus is just one of them. If you want to read the full guide to journeying on Blue Lotus, then you can check it out in the description of this video. And I also want to remind you to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video from us. Until next time.